In the heart of an African village nestled between rolling hills and a river that whispered ancient secrets, lived Peter and his wife Amaka. Life had not been kind to them, but they had something far more precious than wealth: faith. Faith that things would change, that their children would rise above the struggles they had endured. Peter, a humble farmer, and Amaka, a weaver, had poured all their love and hopes into the twin sons, Paul and Barnabas. Despite their best efforts, the road had been difficult. Their sons, though bright and eager, faced the harsh realities of life in the village. Paul, the elder twin by minutes, had inherited his father's mechanical aptitude. He could fix anything: tractors, bikes, even the ancient machines from the nearby town. Barnabas, on the other hand, had a gift for learning. He had completed his education with honors, but the opportunities in the village were few, and he had struggled to find work. Together, Paul and Barnabas suffered in silence, always leaning on each other, always hopeful. But the days grew longer, and the weight of the dreams seemed heavier. They knew the promise of change was not just a hope, but a lifeline. One evening, as the family sat around the fire, Barnabas shared his thoughts with his twin brother. "I have received an offer to work in the town," Barnabas said, his voice tinged with excitement. "It's a job that will pay me 500,000 naira a month. But I need your consent, Paul. It will be far away from here, and I will miss you, but it will be for the good of the family." Paul looked at his brother with a mix of pride and sorrow. It was difficult to imagine life without Barnabas by his side, but he knew this opportunity was one they could not pass up. "You have my full consent, Barnabas. Go and make something of yourself," Paul said with a heart full of hope. With his brother's blessing, Barnabas packed his few belongings and traveled to the town, leaving behind the village that had shaped his life. Peter and Amaka were both thrilled and anxious. Their son was stepping into a new world, and they prayed that it would bring prosperity. Weeks later, the news came that Barnabas had settled into his new job, working as a clerk in a reputable company. His salary was more than enough to support his family, and the twins' dream of a better life was beginning to materialize. Paul, the ever-pragmatic mechanic, was thrilled for his brother. Their family rejoiced, and Peter and Amaka decided it was time to host a Thanksgiving party. The party was vibrant with laughter, music, and dancing under the stars. The village came alive with joy as the entire family came together, united by the promise of a brighter future. After the festivities, the family gathered in their humble home for a meeting. It was time to talk about the next step. "I have an idea, Paul," Barnabas said, his voice filled with excitement. "Now that I'm settled and earning well, I think it's time you open your own workshop. A big mechanic workshop in the town. You're too skilled to be working alone. You deserve better." Quote. Paul, who had always worked with his hands in the small village garage, listened carefully. His eyes sparkled with the thought of expanding his work. "I've always dreamed of it, Barnabas," he admitted. "But I didn't think I could afford it. Do you think it's possible?" "I'll help you, Paul," Barnabas said. "With my savings, we can set up a proper workshop. It will be a place where your talents will shine, and we'll build something that lasts." Quote, "The decision was made. Barnabas helped Paul set up a mechanic workshop in the town. They rented a large space, bought the necessary equipment, and hired a few workers. It wasn't easy, but with determination and hard work, the business began to thrive. Paul's skills became well known, and the workshop quickly became one of the busiest in town. The family was proud. Amaka and Peter, though far away in the village, could feel the changes in their hearts. Their prayers had been answered. The twins were finally on their way to a better life, and they had played a part in it. However, just as the family began to believe that happiness had found them, tragedy struck. One stormy night, a loud knock echoed on the door of Peter and Amaka's humble home. It was a messenger from the town. The message was grim. "Paul has been in an accident. His workshop caught fire, and he was severely injured while trying to save his workers. They've taken him to the hospital, but it doesn't look good." Quote, Peter's heart dropped, and Amaka's knees buckled as the reality of the situation hit them like a thunderclap. Their son, their hope for the future, was lying in a hospital bed, fighting for his life. Barnabas, who had been so full of hope just days before, was now on his way back to the village, his heart heavy with the weight of his brother's pain. The family gathered in their small home, unsure of what the future held. Paul had built his success from the ground up, and now, everything seemed to be slipping away. Would the struggles of Peter and Paul ever end? Or was this tragedy the final chapter of their story? Only time would tell.